You know what it is, Black and Snerdy, Black and Snerdy, Black and Snerdy, Black and Snerdy.
You know who it is, Black and Snerdy, Black and Snerdy, Black and Snerdy, Black and Snerdy.
Odie, Maurice, Odie, Maurice.
Maurice, Odie, Maurice, Odie.
Black and Snerdy, Black and Snerdy.
Black and Snerdy, Black and Snerdy.
Hey, oh.
Yes, Mo?
Are you ready?
Let's go!
Black and Snerdy, Black and Snerdy, Black and Snerdy, Black and Snerdy. It's the Black and Snerdy podcast with Odie and Maurice.
And we are here again for another episode of the Black and Snerdy podcast. I, of course, am one of your hosts, Maurice.
And I'm Odie.
Yeah! Shout out to both of us coming back, doing this again. I always have so much fun whenever I do this. How are you doing, Odie?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to specify when this is being recorded, but when this is being recorded, you will be heading off on a trip to the West Coast.
I am. I'm going to be in Sacramento
California.
for 3 weeks.
Yeah, and so I'm just very grateful that we're recording this right before you leave. That we're gonna squeeze this in, and
but
yeah.
I mean, we're still going to have recordings while I'm gone. They may sound a little bit different, of course, because we'll be trying out this whole Bluetooth situation, but we're still going to be doing our weekly shows.
Yeah, for the listeners, if you recall, previously I got a new mixer. This mixer is dope, and there is a function in which there's a Bluetooth channel specifically made so that anybody can just straight up call in. Like if it basically any call that I make on if my phone is connected to the Bluetooth channel on this mixer, it will catch that call essentially, and that call will be recorded. And we tested it out. We saw how it's going to sound, and yeah, that's exactly what's going to happen. I'm going to be here speaking mad crisp like I am in a studio, and Odie's going to call in.
Yes. I'm glad that they know the entire procedure that we're going to be doing.
Oh, no, but because they're going to hear it. Either if they didn't know it, they're going to hear it, so it's fine. Transparency. I'm all about transparency, Odie. I'm all about transparency and accountability.
Yes. But how was your week in general? How'd it go?
My week so far, if I'm being honest, not that great. I'll speak about it in later sections, but not in like a bad way, just in like a very boring way. Mm-hmm. It's just like everything was fine in that nothing major happened in a negative way or a positive way. It was just a lot of adjusting to sort of a new status quo.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
And that's okay. I'm still employed and I still have the people in my life. Like nothing major rocked my world, you know?
Well, I mean, like as I say, no news is good news.
Yes, no news is good news, and it's all about working towards the middle as somebody who's mad bipolar. So like everything is okay if it's just right there in the middle.
But do you want to know what kind of news that I want to hear?
I'm so glad that you finally understand which drops are drops. Let's talk about pop culture. There we go.
Do you have to take every point and chance to just poke me?
Yes. I don't have to. I get to, Odie. I don't have to. I get to. But it's good that we're in our pop culture section. So hit me with that sweet,
all right.
savory pop culture.
Nope.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You just got finished talking about how I shut you down, and you're doing that to me.
Well,
anyhow.
See, my shutdowns are for a reason, because you poke me and you provoke me
I want anyone
do
listening.
this.
I want anyone listening.
And they're going to all hear and say, yeah, you know what, this should be, we should be, this is like the Am I the Asshole? And I'm always going to be the NTA. The not the asshole.
Here's the thing. That's the difference between me and you. I never think that I'm never the asshole.
Yeah, but
I know that I am
purposely
sometimes
not the asshole when you are purposely the asshole just because.
Not just because. Not off the strength.
All right. Anyway,
Anyhow.
we have some things to talk about this week.
In our pop culture section, it's almost as if I wanted a clean drop to edit out all that bullshit that just
While
happened.
you also then spoke. Oh, like there's no point in doing that if you're going to continue to speak.
So what do we have in pop culture?
All right. So a lot of things happened this week. Mm-hmm. First, I don't know if you saw Will Smith on his Instagram of him showing his panty bod. Oh, okay.
Wait, his panty bod? Okay.
I will say that even though I love saying panty because of the Pandarosa, I do realize how it is not. It doesn't always translate well outside of my head. So his put up a picture of his body, and he was basically oh, this is the worst shape I've ever been in. And because of the pandemic, and everyone was wow, everyone was kind of really bigging him up for posting the picture because, if you know Will Smith, you think of him as this sexy action movie star, A-lister. And it wasn't that he looked bad at all. He just looked like he had he didn't have as many abs as he usually does, but he still looked good. But people were just it's great that you're showing your body and showing how proud of your body you are.
He's being body positive.
Yes, but then it kind of took a slight turn because he then was promoting, the next day he was promoting this fitness challenge he's doing with YouTube. And it's Get Fit with Will or Big Willie Challenge or something like that, where he's I'm going to get fit with the help of YouTube and they're going to film it. And then I think that's when people were kind of so you were putting out this body positivity, but now you're kind of promoting in a way fat phobia, mostly because it's not let's say, I don't know, he's 6'2". Let's say he's 6'2", and his regular body, he's probably 220. And then now he's 240, 250, but it was still he still has a slim body. He is toned.
I just looked it up. My apologies.
So he's he has a tone. He still is a pretty toned man. The only difference was he had a little bit of softness in his middle.
Yeah.
But by no means could you ever call him fat or overweight. And I think that I understand the critique he was getting from people where they're you're showing a normal body and saying oh, this is the worst shape I've been in my life, which yes, could be true for you, but that doesn't mean that your body is somehow bad. And there are plenty of people that look like you every day who maybe they've been, having body issues or whatever, just because I think that what we don't talk about a lot is men's body image issues that they have because they're only seeing people that look like The Rock and, super built guys. I can
attest to that. I'm a walking, talking, admittedly, there's a mild case of dysmorphia with me because I have no problem with admitting that, I go as hard as I do as far as, exercising and stuff, because in my mind for a long time, whenever I looked at myself, I was just mad out of shape because I was a nerd who wasn't athletic and didn't, I didn't, play basketball, which is a great source of cardio. I have a heart condition, and therefore, I already have to be mindful of my cardio, and therefore, any exercise that I do, I have to, do it in a small amount of time or spread out with small intervals or whatever like that in order to, get Shamar more chestnut body or whatever like that, because I can't just do general cardio. So therefore I'm looking at my body and looking at it oh man, I can't just do regular sport shit, you know? So yeah, I completely understand the tapped in market of black men with body dysmorphia who look at other black men are just man, they're in shape. Why can't I get 50 Cent? I've been shot 9 times, but I have the most massive pecs in the world
and
body.
Now
you know what I mean?
Super big. Yeah.
Have you ever seen Get Rich or Die Trying, the movie where they're just slipping and sliding in the bathtub? But they're just all muscly and shit like that. And I don't mean it I mean it in just the most aesthetic way possible. All of this goes unchecked. Continue.
Well, I just want to say, Will Smith, your body looks good. before. It looks good currently now. And I just hope that people just love their bodies. And this is not even coming from someone who is not feeling this like, panorama 15 plus weight gain that I feel like majority of us have experienced. And like you go online or when you're on social media and you see these people who are like, oh, look what I've been able to do with my body and how I've changed it during this whole year. And even though I didn't have a gym and I was always inside, I'm like a parkour athlete now. And it's kind of like, damn, everyone's coming out and like the summer's coming, my birthday's next month. And I'm like, ugh, like I weigh more than I did at my last birthday when I was inside. Yeah. And like just thinking about like my 30th birthday to now. And I do feel kind of self-conscious thinking about that. But I also realized like we were literally in a global pandemic.
Yeah.
And the fact that you even could gain weight during this time is it's actually a blessing because that means that you had money to eat and also that you weren't sick. Because when my sister got COVID, like when I saw her, I was so shook because she had lost so much weight that I was like, I was scared. So it's just like the fact that you could even gain weight during this time, I think is something we should just be happy about, even if we are still struggling with like societal norms and pressures of having a certain body.
Yes, I agree with you. You know what? I feel like the wide range of as long as I agree with you, I'm going to say it this way because the way that you said everybody who has been trapped in this lockdown. I call it lockdown, straight up. I know we've been playfully using P words and stuff like that, but I just straight up call it lockdown. It's been a year of lockdown. The way that you say that, like, if you've been in a position where you've been gaining weight is like that just shows that like you've been in a position where you've been eating healthy and everything like that because there are people who have caught COVID, been in the hospital and all that stuff. I also see it as like everything is valid, at least for me. Like, the same way that, like, if you've been doing that is also the same way that I see of just like, oh, if you've been in this lockdown period for the past year and you constantly complain about how you don't have enough time to go to the gym, but you've been working at home and literally like all you've been doing is just like being in your house this entire time like that's easy, just straight up getting on the floor and doing sit-ups and stuff. Like, it's based on whatever you want and whatever you should feel comfortable with and happy for. I will say this, like, yes, there might be in my own brain some level of that word that I use. Dysmorphia. But on the other side of it is also, hey, I also spent the past year eating healthily and, because I'm not out at bars all the time just drinking alcohol and eating bar food and stuff like that. I'm actually cooking myself meals. I'm actually buying an air fryer and cooking meals and eating food that way. I'm actually exercising in my own, like, I have all of that time because I've been in a pandemic. Like, there's that wide range. It's all of it is valid, I feel like.
And also,
all of it is valid.
On the flip side, just the fact that we've been in such a low level stress situation that, like, when, like, I don't know about you, but when I'm feeling depressed or like I'm having bad mental health days, I'm not always the best at eating and or eating things that are necessarily healthy. Like, if I am not feeling up to cooking, I might eat a bowl of cereal or grab, like, if there's a bag of chips or something.
I hit up Uber and call myself like a good person by saying that, like, I'm helping the industry, the gig economy by like tipping Uber people. Like, good, I'm doing such a good job by giving the Uber people money during this lockdown. Even though I'm buying a pizza, I'm eating a whole pizza.
But I mean, it's true. And I was talking to my therapist and my psychiatrist about like what could possibly have been going on with like gaining weight, and they're just like, you're at home all the time. You probably are snacking more than you thought. You're at home being sedentary in a way that you may not have been. It's just like there's so many different factors. And I just hope that we all can like just thank our bodies for how they've gotten us through this. Whether you lost weight, you gained weight, you stayed the same. Like, regardless, I think that we all have to be mindful of that. And I do hope that, like, celebrities even though it's not their fault, I think that they do have to be aware of how their comments will impact people just
Right.
because, like, excuse me, if you're someone like Will Smith, like, you have a lot of pull on society.
You have a platform.
Exactly. So, I mean, I'm all here for him getting healthy because at the end of the day, I did see an article talking about how this pandemic could be pushing people towards getting diabetes just because we are at home a lot.
Oh yeah, off the strength.
The
for sure.
stress eating and you're eating junk food and being sedentary. So it's
sure.
like, it's definitely important if you are in the worst shape of your life to work towards better. Because like, we don't want to have to deal with another pandemic just with Black people
Right.
of like feeling shitty.
Understood. No, for sure. Completely understandable. So Will Smith, you know what? At worst you got dad bod. At worst you got dad bod, who was also nominated for Ali bod in my mind.
Yes,
Okay,
because he was chunky. He was not chunky. He was thick in Ali.
No, he was felt in Ali. In Ali.
But he was thick. Like, he was a thick muscle guy.
Yeah, oh, that's what you mean. Yeah, he was thick with muscle. As a side note, I know we got to keep going, but like as a side anecdote, he had an interview when Bad Boys 3 came out. He was like, Bad Boys 3 is the most rewarding role that I enjoy because like this is the only role that I feel is rewarding because I get the curse. And I'm like, when I heard that, I was like, but you played Ali, and also you played that dude who came up with the concussions in football.
Oh God! Please don't talk about that stupid, horrible.
Okay.
Okay, listen. It wasn't. No, this is the thing. It was not a terrible
cross
movie.
off 3 of those things that we have.
It wasn't a terrible movie. I didn't see the movie. It was his Nigerian accent that literally was torturous to me.
For the listeners.
I couldn't even. The movie was called Concussion.
For the listeners, Odie is Nigerian.
Yes, I am.
She grew up-
My dad's Nigerian. My mom's American, and
Her grandfather is a chief in Nigeria, and she grew up in Oyster Bay.
I did not grow up in Oyster Bay. Don't listen to him. He's ridiculous. Anyway, his accent was just terrible.
Yeah.
It was just like, remember when what's his name with the eye? Forrest Whitaker.
Of course, what?
What? That's a
No.
about him.
I know. It's just I never I thought I gotta imagine that in his mind he's like I have so many accolades.
He's a great, amazing actor. But anyway,
can't just be boiled down to the guy with the eye. I thought I rose past it.
remember in Black Panther when everyone was laughing about, he was like, "Oh, the powers of the Black Panther," and everyone's like, "What? Why do you sound like that?" That's what I couldn't.
Okay.
I couldn't see this trailer without just being like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
But moving on, Will Smith's dad bod. Next thing.
He's got chunky titties. That's okay. Continue.
Oh goodness. Anyway, next is,
I have chunky titties. Anyhow, continue.
when you say continue and then you say something afterwards, it does kind of defeats the purpose of saying continue. Now,
why I said it,
continuing
and then I
on
said
to
continue.
the next thing on pop culture, sad news.
We got to
Do you-
one out for one of the homies.
Do you remember Barack Obama's dog, Bo? Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, he died today of cancer.
Yo, Bo was a real one. I don't have an appropriate drop
We need
for
to have
this.
some sort of, so hard to say goodbye to yesterday. Now that would be
That would be an appropriate drop.
an appropriate drop.
But that's a song, and I
yes.
have to up the verse. I have to up the pitch.
You gotta
and
pitch
stuff
it up.
like-
But no,
yeah.
they announced today that he passed away from cancer. So again, fuck cancer because we hate it. And yeah, that was sad.
Yeah.
Also, so these last 2 things that we're going to talk about are music related. One, Governor's Ball announced that they're having. They're going to have the show again in September.
Governor's Ball's coming back in 2021. So in New York, Governor's Ball is like a yearly tradition. It happens on what is
Governor's Island.
on Governor's Island,
Hence why it's called Governor's Ball.
which is why it's called Governor's Ball. I personally have never gone.
Same.
I've never
And
gone.
I'm from here.
But because we've been in this this lockdown, I call it lockdown. I don't
Yes.
want to keep coming up with new P words. I'll
You
just
don't
say
need to
lockdown.
come up with new ones. You can just use the old ones.
I know, but I'll just say lockdown. Because we've been in lockdown for a past year, I'm very eager as to be like, oh, you know what? I want to go into watch a sort of outdoor concert music festival type thing. Here's the thing, though. I'm 32. Okay, I have no problem with straight up admitting that. I was looking at the lineup of it, and it was literally like I know the first 3 top headlining names. And I can name like 5 different songs from those top 3 names that are headlining. Everybody else below, like whenever you see the poster and it's like, these are the big bold names. These are the 24 font. Yeah. And then like the 12 font, it's like maybe I know them, but I maybe know one song from them or another. And then you get into 8 font, and then it's like 4 font, and it's like, oh boy, is it worth? Like within each day, it's broken down by each day. You know what I mean? Is it worth? I'm not sure if I'm built to go to a festival where I only know the headliner and no one else. You know what I mean? Like,
well, I think here's the thing with Governor's Ball. Now, I've never been, like I said, but everything that I've always seen of it was people going there basically having kind of like a picnic in a sense. Like they would just like have their little snacks and be like just listening to the music while like sitting on the grass. And so when I looked at the headliners, one, I'm pissed off that they don't have Meg Thee Stallion as like top billing, but they have A$AP Rocky as top billing. When Meg Thee Stallion has, if I'm correct, I remember looking at the little picture.
I'll pull it up again.
And she was, I don't know what day she's going to be on, but I think A$AP Rocky was the headliner for that day. Regardless, Meg Thee Stallion, in my opinion, should be top billing.
I see what you mean.
Because she's better.
Okay, so here it is. Friday, the big in bold in the big font headliner. Friday is Billie Eilish.
Now I do agree with that because I love Billie Eilish.
Saturday, the big bold is A$AP Rocky.
When's the last time he had an album?
But in the fucked up thing is slightly also in bold, but like all of this is in bold. Slightly lower font, but not in the lowest font like everybody else. I wish I could just turn this around and show you, but I'm recording on this podcast. J Balvin on Saturday.
These are both people.
A$AP Rocky, and then it's just like slightly J Balvin, and then everybody else is like, and
then who's on Sunday?
That's the day where Meg Thee Stallion is, and then on Sunday it's Post Malone.
Again.
And then slightly, not even slightly lower like J Balvin. Everybody else is just like
the fact that you would
Savage.
have Post Malone,
Young Thug,
and not Meg Thee Stallion
Burna Boy
is
Carly
a problem.
It is upsetting to me that Carly Rae Jepsen and Meg Thee Stallion are the same size font.
I just don't understand. Like she literally just won a Grammy, multiple Grammys.
Wait. Not only that, it just dawned on me. Everybody, even on Friday, like I know you don't like him. But like Billie Eilish is the headliner, but everybody else is the same font.
Wait, you know I don't like who?
I was about to say DaBaby.
Oh. Well,
like DaBaby is the same font as Earth Gang and Nasty Cherry. Like,
now, just to be clear, the thing is, I really liked DaBaby
until he started.
But now that he's, to me,
Lanez.
being extremely disloyal to Meg Thee Stallion, who I feel like has been not integral to his success, but like also a big part of it because she's been
multiple songs with them.
But yeah, they've had multiple songs together that people play, and like they love him because he's on with her. It's like I just kind of feel like it's disloyal because what the fuck is you done with Tory Lanez that anybody cares about or talks about or plays in the club? Nothing. I just kind of feel like I think
the only way
about,
I can justify it is that like maybe it's literally just like a shotgun type thing of just like
he has to because his label was doing
no, not shotgun like Shotgun Wedding. I mean shotgun like you just spread yourself like across everything to get all of the bags, and there's like nothing matters. You know what I mean?
I guess,
on some nihilism
but,
shit.
You know,
like,
I just
work with everybody. I work with everybody.
I just feel like you can't call yourself like, oh, I'm a G, I'm loyal, we friends over whatever, and then.
Have I ever heard him say that?
Those type of, all the same things rappers like to say about themselves. Anyway, that's the only reason why I have problems with it.
I don't. Anyhow, continue. I'm sorry.
He's just been problematic, but
for sure.
But I just feel like Governor's Ball. I would like to go. Mm-hmm. I think that it is a good. You take a little bite of an edible. Mm-hmm. you have a VIP section, because at this point we are old enough and have enough money to buy VIP sections. Because I personally don't want to be in the mix. Now we got our vaccine shots, the first dose, on Monday.
Yes, we did.
So by the time Governor's Ball comes through, we'll be vaccinated up.
Full vaxxed.
We'll be in these streets. Thank the Lord.
Vaccine.
But also still maxed up. We'll be masked up while vaxxed up.
Yeah. That's way better than the thing that I was trying to get off. We'll be vaxxed up and maxed up.
So I won't have like as much issue of like, being nervous. But I do feel like I would like to have like a VIP section.
Yep.
And now one of the reasons I do want to go is because my friend Bartiz Strange is performing.
Ooh, shout out to him. As a matter of fact, let me look and see what specific day he's going to be performing.
I want to say it's Saturday.
He is performing on Friday.
Friday. Okay, cool. Please buy tickets just for Friday, because he's like really dope and you're really going to love him. And so that's one of my friends from we've known each other since college now. And he's really dope. And he's just a great performer and a musician. So like I would definitely go even just to see him. This is like a really big deal. But I am excited to have like these quintessential New York things coming back, because honestly, who would have thought after a year of lockdown? I mean, we've talked about this before. I thought we were going to be inside for at least 2 years. I
was hoping that we'd be inside for 2 years. Honestly, no, I saved so much money. I've saved so much money, but I was literally like, oh man, we're starting to. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit hesitant because I somewhat planned on being in lockdown for 2 years straight. It's only been a year, and already like I'm sort of in a position where I'm looking around like I'm not blowing through money, and I'm not blowing through anything. But I am also like, all right, Maurice, like, let's sort of ease back in. You literally went from 0 to 100 in like a month's time after your birthday. It's like maybe you should just relax and not spend 3 weeks of not doing anything, and maybe sit your little ass down, not go anywhere, and just relax.
Just relax.
Yeah, just relax. You know, like you ain't got nobody to treat, or go out and to the dinner and shit like that. Just relax and chill.
One way that we all got to relax today is the Verzuz.
Ooh, okay.
So the Verzuz was SWV versus Xscape.
Ooh.
And now this was we are 90s babies. Well, we were born in the 80s, but we were 90s babies because that's when we were like growing up.
Look, we're millennials. I feel like it's been said that like the millennial is from like 88 to something.
No, I think it's like 83. Because there are some people who are like
83 to something. Like either way, like we are quintessential millennials.
Yes, so
right?
we grew up even though we weren't like going to the club, but we grew up with like our moms and dads like listening to us. We were
in the 90s. We were sitting in the back of a hot ass car, drinking those disgusting jug drinks that like.
Oh no, sweetie, I'd never drink a drink.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No, they
were too good.
Yeah,
over
they
there
were
sitting on your classic throne in Ronkonkoma.
Those
too good to drink jug juices from a Kona stove.
Those had dyes in them. And my mother did not allow us to drink things or eat things that had any dyes. I didn't have Gushers. I didn't have fruit roll-ups. I didn't have any of the fun. Do you want to know what we would get when we went to the... It wasn't about us being suburban. My mother just didn't want us eating red number 4.
Oh, you were too good to go to McDonald's.
Do you want to know what...
Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie toy.
No, okay. I mean, we would get those sometimes when we did go to McDonald's. I wanted a Happy Meal because I get the toys.
Mug for you.
No, I got, first of all, Batman I had all of the Batman Forever mugs. I had the Garfield mugs. I had all those, but she just would not buy any of those things. When we would go to the grocery store, she would buy us these things called like apple rolls, and they were basically apple fruit roll-ups with like out any of the dyes. But anyway, fast forward. This is what we'd be listening to on the way to the grocery store and going home. And I was very excited about it, but I just have a question.
Sure.
I think that if you all remember that we talked about this, that T.I. and Tiny
Oh boy.
have a pending investigation that is about 19 plus women and maybe I think 19 plus people, because I think that there was a man that I remembered reading about, but I can't be for sure, but 19 plus people who have accused them of drugging and raping them or sexually assaulting them in some way. One story I remember was allegedly T.I. forcing a woman to give him oral sex for like hours or something, that she had to go to the hospital. So if you can imagine my surprise when this Verzuz was announced and I saw Tiny's name on there. So my question is, why are we allowing Tiny to get any sort of bag in this situation? Because I would never watch a R. Kelly Verzuz. So why do we have Tiny up here when she has, at the very least, a certain... R. Kelly got all those women, she got all those women, and regardless of whether or not she was getting those women, drugging them for her husband, or participating in whatever the situation was, she is a co-conspirator in these women's or these people's abuse. So I'm just like, what... Where, why, who decided that she's allowed? Is it just like do you think it's like they could not allow her to come because of legal issues?
No, can I throw myself in there?
Yes.
Here's the thing. I'm right there along with you. They should not have had Tiny there. One, she's based on what I saw tonight, she's mad superfluous. She's mad superfluous. Like, I didn't even know. Like everybody else in Xscape was like busting out solos and various of the popular songs. I say popular songs because each of them did like 20 songs each. Quite frankly, and like they should not have done that. They should have just kept it at 10 songs.
I mean, listen, honestly,
because come on, it's Xscape and SWV. Even if you include the songs that like they wrote on, like
the TLC No Scrubs.
Yeah, No Scrubs. Cool.
And also Destiny's Child. I forgot what song it was, but they did sing Destiny's Child.
Great, but all the other songs that were smashed in the middle of like that were mad. A lot of the verses was a bunch of fucking deep cuts, and let's be honest, if even if as 90s babies, as millennials growing up appreciating Xscape and SWV, we can all admit that none of us bought the albums. None of us had the fucking albums to know the
we
deep
didn't
cuts.
have the albums. Our parents had them, and then we listened to them.
Our parents had.
My mom had the SWV and the Xscape albums, and actually also my older sister.
Did she have the albums, or did she have the singles that were on CDs,
my sister
which they also sold
and
at the time?
my mom had the albums, and I remember listening to the albums, but I also remember skipping, not so much SWV, but Xscape. I do remember skipping a bunch,
right?
And I personally feel like when I heard the difference between SWV and Xscape was SWV, in my opinion, definitely could have rode right over them. Okay, but I think that they put more of their deep cuts in, so that Xscape would have like some kind of way of like so they would let Xscape have a part of the game. Okay,
but here's my thing. The main thing that I'm getting to ultimately is that like I don't even think that Verzuz really because okay, the way that you just said that like, ooh, we canceled R. Kelly and we no longer like go back and look at like all of R. Kelly's stuff and like with nostalgia and shit like that. If I'm being honest, I think that they went into this Verzuz knowing that this is going to be a Verzuz. I feel like this is the test pilot of live audience Verzuz and stuff. Yeah. With a Verzuz that like, ooh, nostalgically, if you watched it, you were there, you're going to watch it and be like, ooh, cool. But because there's some problematic shit, it'll be easy to forget that it never happened. And then like, if it like you could easily remove it from Triller or whatever, like storage house it's going to be in and stuff, because apparently like whatever, wherever the suit goes, if whatever ultimately accidentally gets canceled and shit like that, it'll be mad easy to like erase over it and just be like, oh, that didn't happen or whatever. Like, hey, should we do a SWV and Xscape and then like do another one without the one who was at the end?
I mean, but
they even framed it in such a way where like you could sort of like
they could Photoshop her
Tiny
out. They could, because she was such a
Was she always just
the odd one out?
The odd one out?
Honestly, I need to go back and watch like older performances and videos.
All of them, everybody, even on SWV, and I mean this in like the most positive way. I'm not shaming anybody, and I mean this, and I need everybody who's listening to see this. Everybody on SWV and Xscape minus Tiny looked like my sister's friends, and I thought all of my sister's friends were mad attractive. But even now, as I go back, I'm talking like when I turned when I was 28, she's 6 years older than me, and all of her friends like who were 6 years older, I'm just like, y'all are mad thick than I remember in high school when y'all were in high school and I was still in middle school. But guess what? Still like y'all. Like y'all are falling still. So
I mean, honestly, the thickness
the fuck out of y'all.
Looks good on them. I like the grown woman thickness that they got.
All of them, everybody in SWB and Xscape minus Tiny look like if they were at the bar just sipping out of the tiniest plastic cup of like cranberry vodka with grenadine in it. I would totally saddle up to them and be like, hey ma.
Well, I don't know personally if any of the women in SWV or Xscape outside of Tiny have had surgery.
The rest of them don't.
But Tiny definitely had a lot of surgery.
I'm not gonna speculate.
No, but we know. We know that Tiny has surgery. She's talked about it. But I would just say, just looking at them, they look like beautiful. Like their bodies are aging gracefully, and whatever that means.
Shout out to the rest of y'all.
I just hope that they when she like there's I just don't see how there's any way that Tiny is not going to be indicted, and she's already proven herself to take charges for her man. Mm-hmm. Like she did that a few years ago when she took his gun and drug charges from the tour bus. So I won't be surprised if she's setting a jail cell for this situation. And I kind of feel like we need to really think about these things and not just get swept up in the nostalgia. Like, to me, I don't think that the rest of Xscape should have to pay for Tiny's crimes. The same way I think that the rest of the Bill Cosby cast should not have to, the Cosby Show cast should not have to be kept from syndication and money because of Bill Cosby's mistakes.
Well,
but I would not want, like...
Hence why I've been saying, get a reboot with Malcolm Jamal Warner playing the Bill Cosby role.
But you mean as the son who's just, like him bringing back the son
like
and then having his own family,
like the new generation, and just do all those storylines. Like Stevie Wonder is still alive. You could do Jam on the Run with just like, and it could be just called Warner, the Warner Show. And you don't even. I'm not see this. I don't even want to do the song.
I don't remember what their was their last name in the show Cosby.
Huxtable. No, they were
Huxtables. There you go. That's what it is. Called the...
Yeah.
So why was it called the Cosby Show? What?
Oh my goodness. Yo, we gotta wrap this shit up.
We're moving on.
We gotta move this on and wrap it up. Because we gotta yo,
at that note, we're going on a break because I just had a whole big mind fuck right now.
All right.
See you soon.
See ya. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Black and Snerdy podcast.